In the name of Allah, the most compassionate, the most merciful. We are almost all the time, most of the time, certain types of problems our life is facing comes to our mind, and we start thinking, what can I do for me, for it? What are the available options? How to get it out of the way? How to clear my way from this problem? This is, we do think that my troubles and my problems are actually spoiling my life. I'm unable to enjoy it. The solution of the problems are obviously important, but it is even more important that it is even more important to stop the creation of it, stop the creation of the problems and the troubles as much as we can, especially the problems which we do create ourselves. Many of the people will say that it's not me, rather she and she who have created the problems for me. The government have problems, have created the problems and the troubles for me, for my life. So I'm not the one who does create the problems for oneself. Actually, this is not true. We do create the problems for we ourselves. Even the most intelligent of the people, even the most intelligent of the people do create the problems for themselves. Not to talk of the ordinary people like me and you, dear friends. How do we create the problems for we ourselves? Usually it is our tongue. Usually it is because of the words we utter, we deliver, we speak from our mouth. Many of the problems are either created or stoked means escalated by our words, by our tongue. Our tongue is a double-edged sword. Our tongue is something which can either create so many of the ease for us or so many of the troubles for us as well. Creating ease for we ourselves, we are found always trying for it. Although everybody is not intelligent enough, everybody don't have such a golden words. But as for the creation of the problems are concerned, particularly the problems which are created by our words and by our tongue, these are really very common, and we people are found indulging in it. There are certain reasons behind the creation of these problems. Why do we use the words which does create the problems for us? It is the negative thinking, it is the jealousy, it is the lack of prudence, it is the lack of being intelligent or wise, it is jealousy, it is our ego, and there could be a host of other reasons and motives as well. Maybe maybe we do create many of the problems once we are trying to impress someone else. Believe me, as and when we are trying to impress somebody, either because of our knowledge or because of the power we are having, we might have, or if at all we are attached to somebody who is powerful enough, whatever it is, believe me or not, once we are trying to impress somebody, it does create problems, and many of the problems, not just the fewer one, every time we are trying to suppress somebody, everybody, once we are exhibiting our ego, once we are showing our jealousy, I think so we do create the problems. Once we speak, it does tell us whether we are the positive people or the negative people, whether we are feeling the jealousy or something like that, whether our ego is overactive or not so, whether we people are ignorant or we people are the wise and the intelligent and the learned people. It all depends upon the words we are found using. So it is not that easy actually. If at all we people, even when we are speaking, even when we are speaking proactively, we do make many commitments, many blunders actually. Even once we are talking proactively, we do create many of the blunders, many of the troubles for we ourselves. And if somebody asks us something, says us something, and we do consider it necessary to speak something in return, believe me, it does create many of the problems and many of the troubles. To the surprise of the many people, the best conversation is no conversation. The best conversation is being a good listener. Listen attentively to the people, whatever you can learn out of it, whatever, if at all there is any sort of opportunity which you can comprehend out of listening, out of being a very good listener. So the best conversation is being a good listener. So the best conversation is being an attentive and a receptive listener. If at all we are the listener like that one, believe me, we are a very good speaker. And not only this thing, once somebody is saying something to us, if at all we do remain quiet, I think it is the best answer. Instead of saying something, instead of use certain words, I am not saying that this is always true, but it is quite true in many or most of the cases. There are very few situations where answering becomes necessary, even at that even on the occasions like that one. I think it is far better and far good if at all we think well, ponder well, and then we do respond instead of instantly and spontaneously starting our talk, because whatever we are saying, I think the other people are trying to pick certain things which could be used against us and for their advantage and against us as well. So this, as far our conversation is concerned, it annoys Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as well. Once we are talking bad mouth about somebody, once we are slandering, once we are backbiting somebody else, once we are accusing someone of something which he is not actually responsible for us. So as far our talking is concerned, it is something which is really dangerous. The lesser we speak, the better it is. To be a best conversationalist, I think we should